Good morning everyone, here Elohim again. For this video I have a setup of ideas, very complex. It's a topic that I have years talking about it. Yes, I noted that you can see the door. That is something that you should be seeing, and in every video the door looks different. It's because repairing the house will take a lot of time. Uh, so you probably will see it in any moment in any other color or in shiny or something because it's a lot of work. Anyways, um, first I'm gonna give you some context. Always context is necessary because we live in the world where everybody is able to take out of context whatever you say and give them whatever interpretation you say to them. So before that you respond or over engage with the video, let me tell you, I own, I think that 6 blue things. I have this blue t-shirt with black squares that I love. That is one of the first things that I bought when I came to New York City. Mm, some blue pants, my blue cape that I really love, the cover of my book on manifestation, uh, I have some blue glasses, and it's something else. I'm not really sure what it is. Uh, the shower curtain in my restroom is blue with some very nice fishes and stuff because I really like it. Uh, why? Because I really don't like too much the color blue because I grew up in a very misogynistic uh, environment where blue was imposed. So with time I just started to reject the color. And because I come from a socialist country, and socialism is a very complex system, difficult to explain because everybody thinks that they know what it is, except for the fact that they are not living it. Everything related with socialism is red, so it's a color that for many years I tried to avoid, but it's at the same time of my favorite colors. Actually, my favorite colors are golden, red, and orange. Those are my favorite colors in the world. Much of my stuff right now is red and orange. Why I give you all of this useless information? Because it's taste, it's colors that I like. And many times we engage or over engage in talks and conversations. We can talk very mad when someone just express an opinion different to what we believe, and we entirely ignore the whole background and context of the conversation. It's like these discussions on internet. Uh, you say, like I said months ago on one of any platform, it's a beautiful day to curse the patriarchy, which is a post that I always made over and over and over and over. I just post, it's a beautiful day to curse the patriarchy. I'm pretty sure you are smart enough to understand what I'm saying, but people wanted every time to take it out of the context, like, oh, you are saying, you are encouraging me to a coursing over someone else who are probably doing this from the ignorance, and they need forgiveness, you are a hateful human being, and these kind of things. And you're like, oh, I was actually not saying that. I'm pretty sure you are smart enough to know what I'm saying. I'm not the smartest person in the room. I consider myself smart enough to graduate from college, which is more than many people, but not the smartest person in the room, especially in English language. Um, but I'm pretty sure that's not what I was trying to say. That's what you want to interpret from my words, and that's valid, but it's not. Um, it's a lot. of things on witchcraft, brujeria, and Afro-Caribbean groups happening everywhere. I come from Venezuela, so things while are very different, we don't have so much Western stuff, so much Western astrology, Western magic, ceremonial magic. These kind of things are not like very popular in these countries. This is more like an England, United States, Canada thing, very European also. In these countries, I'm talking to you, Venezuela, Brazil, Cuba, Santeria, Locumi, can't believe you are close to Brazil like I was. Umbanda, Kimbanda, if you're close to Brazil too, are like the strain in there of magic. They are like the representation of brujeria in there. While in countries like Colombia, even being just between Brazil and Venezuela, Colombia is here, just in a corner between them, um, Santeria is not like extremely popular in there. Is some crowds there, but it's not extremely popular. It's not like a big thing. It's not like Venezuela, where people never understand when I say, yeah, I know that here in the United States you have some groups of Santeros, but it's not like Venezuela, and they are like, oh, yeah, it's because you don't know. And I have seen their crowds, like, they tell me, oh, this big party of Santeros celebrating Elewa in New Jersey, you need to come. Will be so many people, and I have been there, and I'm like, yeah, it's a very nice crowd. I'm not trying to disrespect you or dismiss your experience. It's just that you know, you don't understand the level of popularity of Santeria and Lucum in Venezuela. It's so popular and it's so common, but everybody is able to understand whatever is their intellectual level of culture, history, background, etc., etc., etc. It's many things that I don't understand, and that is totally okay. Um, so I come from a different place where community feels very different. Here in the United States, the communities is we are talking literally oil and water. They are entirely different. You can't imagine how different the community is. It's like, and I have been part of the metaphysical community for so many years. Like, I grew up in there. And while I love my actual crowd or group of people with who I learn and practice, except for them and for some very counted people, the rest of the community for me is like, yeah, you really make me miss my community. Maybe because we are in such a complex financial situation in South America, our communities are not so focused on money, it's not this popularity competition. I think that people here grow up watching too much TV. I really see that, and it's very complicated because uh, I'm not the most accomplished person to talk about pop culture. I watch TV a lot, but you have so much stuff, and people is like so much focusing in we need to watch all of these shows and all of these films that is like, wow, so much information out there and so much misinformation also because these films and things they give you a wrong conception of magic and witchcraft. People grow up watching that all of this in witchcraft is these fights between everybody else. So all of this discussion are based on memes, on internet, taking characters from TV shows and from films, and people just trying to like shame others using memes, and it's like boring. It's like I have a lot of nephews. I have so many nephews, and I'm older than my nephews, logically. Well, not logically, but I think it's the smartest thing to do uh, when you know that the uncles, your brothers and sisters, are older enough to have the responsibility to be uncles and aunties, so you can have children. I grew up with so many children, and I grew up, teaching them, feeding them. I teach my nephews to make maths, and I teach two of them to read and write. So when you grow up with that, and you then see grown old people acting like them 20 years ago, this makes you question their level of whole maturity and background and everything else. The metaphysical community in South America feels and hits so different because I think that is really for the financial situation, because we don't have so much from take of money. It's like we are very focused in teaching, we are very focused in being together. And I always have all of these stories of my mom that I put in my videos because I grew up with my mom, and my mom is like very involved in the community. And she have like everybody else, people that she likes, people that she dislikes, and these people who like her and are people who actually dislike her so much. Because she always have an opinion, and I am not smartest, but I am more diplomatic. I am the kind of person that if you meet an opinion that I dislike, I always will try to or avoid the conversation or just bring a conflict because I don't like conflict. My mom is the kind of person who she just sees that something is wrong and she goes to say it in the moment, in the place, even during rituals. And I'm not like that. I am more like, let me think from a place of calm. Maybe we can talk apart with these people outside, not in front of everybody. But my mom knows a lot, like a lot. For me, she's like the ultimate source of knowledge on magic because her level of expertise is so much that it's like overwhelming because she overcome or overcame so many things in life in the witchcraft, brujeria, magic, santeria aspect. Like she has so many struggles and so many problems with people, and she learned and learned, and she continue doing spell work and inner work at the same time, and just in some way she mastered levels of magic that when you are trying to teach her something new, you recognize this insight in her face, like I know what you're talking about, but she will not say it, but you recognize her face like because she knows in which direction you are going, because she has walked in so many paths and she has mastered so many of them. And the metaphysical community there, going back to the point, feels like you can fight with someone, you can dislike someone, but at the end of the day, when it's ritual, when it's initiations, when it's wherever, everybody's in there, in the room, doing their part, with the drums, with the water, with the chants, with whatever we are doing. And you see everybody working together, going on together, going forward in the ritual. If after that they don't talk to each other, the religion is totally out of the talk. The religion is untouchable. You don't touch that. You don't bring your conflicts, your personal dislikes to the religion. You never use the concept of magic. You never put in doubt the traditions of someone else. That's something that we don't do because it's tasteless. It's very immature. We never talk about if this is a witch, this is not according to my tradition, according to my practice. We don't do that. We don't do that. Like I had said many times, from where I come from, and sorry if this sounds entitled for you, but from where I come from, we don't do gossip via DM with screenshots. We don't do that. If you want, from where I come from, if you want to destroy a witch, you do your spell work in total silence in a room, and you just see the results. You don't need to say anything. And when people see things happening to that person, you know from where comes the energy. You know she was fighting with her last time, and you know who is her. You know her character. She did the same with her neighbor. Do you remember that? That's the kind of, things that I'm not saying that it's ethical, but I'm saying that is how actually it is. It's like, it's a lot of racism in the United States. That's a fact. It's unethical, yes, but it's a fact. It's something that happened. It's a lot of racism in the United States. And you don't see, you can go right now to Facebook or any other platform in social media and look for these witches from other countries, and you will not find this kind of conversations, this kind of shaming constantly and stuff, because it's going on. Because here people is like more entitled, they have more access to make things, like you want to sell something, you just make an Etsy store, you have a certain amount of money, you ask for a credit in the bank, and you can open your shop, your store, so everybody else is practically your immediate competition in the same city. People create virtual events. I have made virtual events, and so many open ways for you to grow up in the United States. That's the reason why immigrants come here. It's so many opportunities and chances that people take them. So in a certain amount of time, these people just starting to think from, not from the heart, but from the money, from the lackness, from, if you are selling that, I need to destroy you because people don't go to buy from me, because they see everybody like competition, which is very wrong, and it's very mature and shows a lot of insecurities from them. In South America, if you have been in Brazil, if you have been in Venezuela, if you have been in Colombia, if you have been in Peru, if you have been in Argentina, if you have been in Cuba, you will know that all of these fights via screenshots, via the end, all of these passive aggressive messages, I'm watching you, watch me. I mean, I put selfies there. Watch me, I mean. The fact that you tell me that you are watching me really don't scare me. Don't make my food bad taste. Don't. I mean, no, it's not. It's just you are literally trying to grab attention, and that's okay for you. I mean, everybody has their mental issues, and not my concern entirely. Because the metaphysical community feels so different, and grow up's different, and the background is different, and you see that people have the maturity to go together. It has been in ritual and in initiation so many times with people that I really dislike, and that because I really don't like their manners or lack of manners, or they are too entitled, they are very misogynistic, highly homophobic. So it's like conflicted, but at the moment of ritual, everybody is respectful, everybody do their work, nobody's watching the other in a bad way. That not happens. Because we grow up in a country where we have so many lackness of stuff, we don't have so many chances, that we don't try to make enemies between ourselves. If you want to give a warning about someone else, you have this warning, you make a call and you say to people, this person is conflicted because this and this and this, so be careful, please. It's nobody going via the end saying every week, oh, I could hate more whatever person it is, and changing the subject and the name of the person every week for someone else, so gaslighting everybody, and like, you need to go everybody against that person that I hate. You don't see that in our communities, because we have the same struggles in their political, economical, financial struggles. So we really have like priorities. So if you dislike or not the same person that I dislike, it's not really my problem. It's my fight. We have the maturity to assume that. Because that happens, and people here in the United States have so many ways to grow. They have this tendency to create personality cults, or cults of personality. Remember when I use a term or word, I say it 2 or 3 times. It is because my brain is translating at the same time that I'm bringing the information. So sometimes my brain is like, stop, I'm not sure. That happens like every day because I need to think in both languages at the same time. Um, so it's a lot of cults of personality. I just see in my country one time a certain cult of personality. I think that just that time. I mean, was all of these Hinduist gurus who were very popular with their hair and they were like, give me your money. We have a lot of that. They were popular in the 19th in Venezuela, extremely popular. Everybody have these pictures in their home surrounded by flowers with the picture of these people from India who were gurus and everybody knows them and give them money, give them money. You don't have food, but give them money. We have that. But they come from outside. The advertising was beautiful, was masterful. The advertising was like, oh, that's the reason why I want to learn advertising because I want to know how these people control others. And they don't teach you that. But okay, I understand some things in the college. I remember I was growing in this very strange metaphysical community. When my family moved from one place to another and moving, when in the cities, we started to be part of the city and you need to talk just in Spanish, you can talk Guayo. You need to don't talk about gods or spirits, you need to talk about God in singular, not in plural, because they will be mad. Why? Oh, because they just have one God. They just have one God. How is that? And that God makes everything? Yeah, that God makes everything for them. Okay, okay. And they will have, and you will see this statue of this beautiful goddess, very well dressed, wrapped with a lot of colors, and she have roses and stuff. And she's a goddess. It's some kind of goddess for them, but it's not a goddess. They venerate her like that, they honor her like that, they put a status of her like that, but they never say she's a goddess. She's like the mother of God, but she's not a goddess. But for some of them, in certain religions, he's God, for others, he's the son of God. You can be confused about that, which is extremely confusing. She's the mother, but she is still a virgin. That's a lot to take when you are like 11. It's a lot to take, but you do it. And I grew up with all of these systems of magic. So when I was arriving at a certain age, and I start my age of revelry and questioning and going for someone else. Because if you are starting to practice witchcraft 8, 9, 10 years ago, and you just discover how beautiful is the area, the history, and the culture of beautiful, but at the same time it's scary for so many things. I understand that you are like fascinated for everything, but when you are growing inside of this and everybody's practicing, and the people that they are reading in their books, oh, the witches in Venezuela and in Amazonas, they do this and do that. They are talking about you and about your family and about your people and about your tribe. The information hits different. Because most of the times you don't do half of the stuff that they say that you do in the books. We simply not. But when you have so many years practicing, you start questioning certain things. That's natural, and actually, that should be. You should question. You should have critical thinking. It's important to have critical thinking, and it's very important to have the chance, the freedom to make questions to other people. The thing is, I was growing and I discovered the books of Wicca, not Scott Cunningham, the real books on Wicca. And you discover all of this about Wicca, and you find yourself like, oh, it's a path of traditional magic. I'm not gonna say more white, but like more involving balance, Mother Nature, the aspect of venerating the cycles of nature. I am conflicted with the idea of celebrate um, Irish, Gaelic, European um, celebrations, Sabbats, but the idea of taking a moment to celebrate June, to celebrate the equinox and the solstice, to celebrate literally like you celebrate every year your birthday, so you are celebrating that the whole beautiful glow of life and water where you are working in every day is having a change, is having a transformation that is like beautiful. And that is something that of the things that when I read about Wicca, it was like, yes. So I start moving in these circles. I find a couple of comments. I join to one. They do this kind of initiations. And when we talk about initiations, I personally, and this was part of the, I don't like blue, I prefer red. This is part of the context. I do not believe in self-initiation. There are many good books on the topic. Oh, mosquito or wasabi, I'm really not sure. Was a mosquito? I'm not sure. I'm not sure even for where they could come in because I'm very hot here because all the windows are closed. So I'm not really sure. Whatever. So I was coming to these circles and they teach you how to do the self-initiation because this woman, Lorelai, she was in England for some time, then she traveled back to Venezuela. She was like very well known Wicca. She had these groups. In that moment was in MySpace and Yahoo groups, and I am so old like that. And she was like not famous, but was popular in the community. If you were in Venezuela, were looking information about Wicca, you will know who was Lorelai. She was a priestess, but she was like very responsible at the same time. Like I was trained for Wiccans, I was trained in England, I mastered certain things, they initiate me, but I'm not a high priestess, so I should be able to make an initiation on you. But she creates some kind of self-initiatory ritual that was gorgeous to see. I don't like self-initiation, but the ritual when you see it was like this is taken from a film because it was beautiful. The circle made of wood, wrapped with roses and cajins because cajun flower and roses in Venezuela grows like every day of the year. Every day because we are a tropical country. Uh, the circle of wood and you take the circle around and you dance inside of the circle and you pass the circle with you inside and you walk inside of the circle and you jump over the broom 6 times going and back and the chants and the drums and the lights and the incense was everything so beautiful, so well made. I see it more like a ritual to disconnect from reality and go inside in the inner worlds and the other worlds in many ways because you are commuting with the spirits. The symbolism of put the wood circle and you cross inside of the circle the 6 times. It's like you literally take this from the brooms of a tree which was blessed for many years, and you make the circle and you surround it with flowers, but these flowers you know that they are beautiful but they are dry, so they represent death and they are surrounding the circle, and when you are moving inside of the circle you are wrapping yourself in the dead spirit, in that energy. So the magic in there happening was amazing. Anyways, I don't take it like an initiation, right? It's a very conflict idea. I have a squirrel here next to me, so give me a second to pause the video. I'm back. I just have a squirrel watching me in the window and I was trying to put some food in there. So I was talking about the self-initiation ritual. What's beautiful made? What was a lot of symbolism that she put in there, and I really like when she has she could just came to the country and say, I am a high priestess and I can initiate you in my tradition, and nobody will say anything, nobody will ask for credentials because we know for a fact that she was in England for many years. So when you come back, and she was like some kind of witch with Wiccan inclinations before the travel. Actually, she traveled to learn more in there while she was studying languages, I think, or was history. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I know I was interested on that. On that, I never asked the right questions. So nobody will ask for credentials for sure, because how you prove the credentials in English? But she was mature enough to not make it a cult around her. She was like, I don't have the level to give you the initiation, but we can create our own some kind of tradition here with the information that I have. Something obviously less wide, for saying it so way, because we don't have the England perspective, we don't have the cycles, so we didn't celebrate like equinox and solstice. We were celebrating the uh, the things that we have around, and like rain season, the cold season. We were celebrating that, but was very nature, was very magical, and was this other circle. This other circle was this woman. Um, she was like so convincing, so witchy, that kind of person, so charming. Um, and if I had learned something in life, especially growing up in a narcissistic environment, especially with certain members of family, and after years of therapy, is you will find two kind of very charming people in your life. The people who is naturally charming, that you know that they are just like that. They make me feel so jealous because they are like charm comes naturally from them. And the other ones who are so charming that you don't know that you are talking with an expert, professional, abusive, narcissistic person, that they know your levels of empathy and they escalate their narcissism to your levels of empathy, and they will take you there. They will take your empathy, your emotions, and use it against you in any possible moment. She was the second one, definitely. She tried to create this Wiccan circle based on the fact that she read a couple of books, but we didn't have so many groups around. So when you are trying to master something and you just have two options, you try to learn from these both options. If I learn something from Lorelai, is you never remain silent about abusive behavior, because she was the kind of person who I don't go to talk about her. I just wait the goddess bless her soul and she find peace in her path. So you are like, so I listen things, very bad things about her. You do have any warnings about her? And she's like, she will say nothing. And everybody was talking trash about that woman who looks so charming. Nobody warned you because we don't talk about other people. So I learned that when it's an abusive around, an abusive person, you talk. And because you need to protect people. That idea of, I'm going to plan from people, just remain silent, you not. It's just that because it not affect you more, you are entirely ignoring the fact that these people is going behind other people, grasping their attention, bringing them to their little hell, and making life a hell for these people. You are entirely ignoring that because you feel entitled to do it. I'm not that kind of person. uh, if you are a shitty person, uh, I will be sure that nobody close to me is close to you, and I will give all the warnings to them. Please be careful. I'm not saying not go there. I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop talking you. I really don't care, but I'm warning you about this behavior from this person. End of the story, because that is how you protect people, not remaining silent like a coward. So this person, I was like, oh, but everybody's talking trash about her, but she looks so charming in the group, so welcoming and so nice. And she started doing these groups every 2 weekends, I think. Was every 2 weekends, or every 3 weekends. I can't entirely remember that. We go to these groups in a park in Venezuela called Parque Las Brujas, the Witches Park. It's a very small park, it's not so big. And it's very difficult to arrive in there because it's like very inaccessible from the city. You need to take the train, you need to take the bus, you need to walk like 40 minutes after that. And when you arrive, it's a very small park in the middle of a private area of houses. But she knew a lot of stuff about moon magic and about the cycles of nature and about transformation. Is one of the few people that when talk to me about dream work and astral projection, I literally sit down and ground myself to listen, because I have this intuitive thing telling me she knows what she's talking about. I don't know if she's really a good person or not, but she definitely knows about astral projection. She knows about dream work. She knows what she's talking about. I'm not sure if she's good or bad, but she knows things. She knows things. I like that. And she was so convincing, so nice. But when you are inside of her circle after some years, you notice certain patterns that when I was coming from the behavior of certain members of my family, including a sister who is like the whole Bible of narcissists, and I see the same patterns repeating. This was so painful and hurtful because I didn't want to believe it, but then she ends being this kind of person. Immediately I run. And I run from that and I come back with Lorelai, who received me with open arms. And I continue learning on Wicca. And this kind of behavior, I continue seeing it in United States. In United States, because people have so much access to create stuff. In Venezuela, we don't even have such a good internet. I think that we are not yet in 4G, and here you are like in 5G of Wi-Fi stuff. When I left Venezuela, or I leave Venezuela in 2015, we were like, oh, 2G internet, that's so cool. And here in the United States, people was like, yeah, that's so old. Because we don't have that kind of stuff in there. So when you see here in the United States, people have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the other one, which now is a letter, and people make YouTube videos like this one so fast. You charge the video, you upload the video on internet in like 20 minutes. Try that in Venezuela. It's not funny. You can spend 6 hours just trying to upload a video of 20 minutes long. 6 hours having the most decent connection to internet. So people is not trying to create whole profiles on internet like here. Here someone read an article on Wikipedia about green magic. Scott Cunningham, they say I'm gonna be the green witch. They read a couple of books, they create the Instagram account, the green witch, whatever. The green witch who brings the rain. And so the green witch who brings the rain have an Instagram account, a TikTok account full of videos, YouTube videos about how much she learns in her years of expertise. And you see all of this content and blogs, so people start calling her for conferences and chats and events and all kind of very big stuff. People is convincing. I mean, I could literally disappear from social media today, which I'm not planning to do, but I could disappear today and come back in 2 years, calling myself Sandro, which is a singer, Sandro Valenzuela, and say that I am a necromancer with 40 years of expertise and create a TikTok channel with a lot of videos, but I never show my face or talk in the videos so people don't understand my accent, and people will believe that I am a necromancer with 40 years of expertise or 20 years of expertise, because that's the magic of social media. People made up a lot of stuff. And if you are not careful enough to investigate about these people and their behavior and their tricks, you will fall very easy. So here, because people have so many tools, they use these tools in a very smart way to try to convince you to be part of their circle, because they need two things. They want attention, they want money. When they see that they can have one of them, the attention, so immediately on social media, they say, oh, I can monetize this. And they try to create the whole money experience. And they can create whole profiles. I have seen people. It's a person that I have in between my eyes right now. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. He bought my book, Manifestation Magic. He was like super cool in my DMs, and it was like, yeah, I don't know who is this person, but he was like trying to be nice. And one day he was like, we need to write a book together. And I was thinking, I don't know you. I don't know you have wrote books. What I see, the few things that I see in his socials, it was like, this is a very complicated person who actually, I think he needs therapy. I advised to him a couple of times. I even give him the contact of a person with who he could talk, because he has certain things to work. He was like doing a PayPal thing to collect money to pay for one of these overrated, useless, entirely useless nonsense, highly expensive courses on abundance magic for like $900 with these 2 white girls born in Sage in California. And he was like asking everybody on PayPal, give me money for this, give me money for that. That was literally 2 years ago, because that was in 2021 when my book Manifestation Magic was coming out. And now 2 years later, he's some kind of biggest tarot reader in the city, who with 20 something years of expertise on witchcraft and stuff. I remember when he was like telling me, this is my second book on witchcraft, and I'm just starting 1 year ago, and I'm like, analysis the social, and I'm like, this is so interesting. This is common American social media personality behavior. Because people do that, and we need to be very careful about cults of groups, cults of personality, where people just comes to you, creating the whole profile, and they try to convince you that I am the guru here, I am the guru, I am the master, I have all the knowledge, comes to me, talk to me, worship my ways, worship in my ways, and worship me too. And in that way, they convince you, they grab your attention, they grab your power, they grab your money, they grab your time. And all those things that they grab from you, you will not recover. It's very important when you're trying to be part of a coven or a group. Remember critical thinking. Critical thinking, like, why are we doing this? Oh, because we traditionally do this, and he's written down for our high priestess, or for our founder, or for whoever was in the tradition. And you say, okay, it's valid. A lot of people will just say, well, that's the way, and we do it that way, and that's my way. And you're like, okay. That's a lot. happening of that. Here I see social media because, not because I am a big personality, because I'm not. But I am the most unlikable, probably the most unlikable witch on social media. I'm pretty sure of that. But the little crowd of people who take the time to talk to me, I respect their opinions a lot. And I see this kind of behavior on social media all the time because I work on social media for certain companies. And I see this behavior over and over and over. People trying to they try to take down your critical thinking. They try to master your mind. They try to be so convincing. They try to be so, I am empowering you, coming my way, because all of them, they hate you. They are hateful people. When you see someone who is coming to you every time, every week, saying to you that I have a conflict with this person because this person is horrible, and they have a conflict with this another person, and they have a conflict with this another person, and it's every week a different person, and you go to their socials and you don't see anything that the shit that they are saying. But you're telling me that, yeah, but you didn't see it, but I have a screenshot from 2 years ago. Well, you go to talk about that, like, I mean, I have conversations, and my husband knows this. Like 6 years ago, I had saying so many things about my own culture, about my own practice, for which people probably will take me out, and I just grew up. And at a moment of my life, I say, I'm sorry for that. I actually, now I know that I was wrong about this and about that, about A and about B. But you are using the argument of A, that was just an argument, that was an action. I didn't kill anybody, I don't commit a crime, I just say something 6 years ago, and you're using that, taking out of context without taking the answer from 6 years later when I say, oh, well, thinking about that moment when I was saying that, now I think, you see, it's an entirely different thing when you add the context, and people will take your stuff out of context all the time. Like, for example, this, I know, I don't say names. I find it hateful. And when people comes to ask me for names, if you are one of my friends, you probably know that I'm not. You need to be very, very close to me to be the kind of person that I say names to you. You need to be extremely close to me, because a lot of people out there are like, every time ideas like, do you know about, no idea what you're talking about. Do you know the name of, I really don't know. I don't really care. Months ago was this such a hateful human being, and she's like one of the people that I don't hate, but I'm not so happy that she continued breathing. She's such like a hateful liar, manipulative, crazy human being. Crazy, not like, I'm not saying about mental issues, because for people who have mental issues, I don't will say the term crazy. She just do crazy things for a person who have other kind of behavior. She's a narcissist, definitely she is. And she was doing all of these comments against me, and she was attacking me and attacking my friend. Oh, this light, if you could see it. She was attacking. Oh, you can see it. She was attacking me, talking about crazy people. She was attacking me and attacking my friends on social media for weeks, for literally weeks, literal weeks. Every day tagging us in posts and saying stuff and convincing people that we were hateful and horrible and blah blah blah. Which was interesting because she has one of the biggest platforms on social media, and she just connived with racists and white supremacists, but we were the hateful ones. And one day I just chose to respond because I was so mad. Not because of the comment, because I was for weeks in total silence, like just tolerating whatever people comes to say to me. She's a master on weaponized following. She do that. But one day I was like in a very low place. I was like having a lot of work. I was very stressful. I was fighting with someone. My dad was having that heart operation in Venezuela, and I was like super stressful and anxious, and nobody told me anything. And it's not like you are in the hospital, you are in another country, literally in the other side of the planet. And they are here and you are here, and all the communication is via phone. And is the doctor saying something? Is someone saying something? Is something happening? Nobody saying nothing to you. And I was so stressed, and this person comes in that moment saying more hateful things to me directly and tagging me and mocking my appearance and mocking my accent and mocking my manners and mocking everything I do. And she was really drunk in the shower, in the bathtub, super, super drunk. Actually, she's always drunk. She was saying hateful things, and I make certain comments, and people just take that comment out of context. And when people was like, you need to clarify, I'm not gonna clarify shit for you. Because this has been passing for weeks, and you're just taking this to put me like the hateful person. So, no, because I don't owe you anything. People who knows for weeks really knows that I finally come after her. And then actually, I don't feel bad for what I say, if I'm honest, because I literally say the truth. I didn't exaggerate, I didn't put insults, I don't denigrate her, I just describe the situation word by word. She's drunk, showing her parts in the bathtub, and she was like making all of these videos for weeks. And when you see that kind of behavior and you notice that it's people following these people and who really believe in these people, and they see this kind of behavior and they come to me like, yeah, she's wrong, but she has the right to be wrong. She's a woman in America. I'm not saying that she can be wrong, but you don't see like, I am conflicted with the idea to see a person drunk in videos every day, 6 times a day, for weeks. Like, probably she have other problems and other issues in her life of which she could take importance instead of being persecuting witches on social media just because they disagree with her in her cult of personality. Just saying that I'm not trying to shame anyone, I'm just putting the facts in there. If I were so hateful of my life that I need to be drunk every day to enjoy every aspect of my life, and every day for 2 weeks throwing hate against someone who is not paying attention to me, it's like it's obviously something in my life that I need to take care, and I'm not doing it. And when you see that these kind of people are having a cult around them, you see all of these people acting like sheep around, like, oh, poor of her. These cult of personalities are dangerous because you see how these people give them money, give them time, give them attention over and over and over and over. You see that happening so many times. Like, I mean, I have so many examples. I could extend this video for hours, but I don't want to. But it's like, I just mentioned this. Whoever is, I hope they are okay. I'm just thinking on this, and for sure, I can tell you in this moment, my mind is just bringing to me so many examples, like a lot, because I see it a lot. It's a lot of cults of personality out there. It's a lot of cults of come here, join to my coven, join to my group, and when you go there, it's just a cult of personality. It's just, we do things in my way. With critical thinking is not welcome here. We don't have evidence or nothing to write down about how do this, but it's how I decided to do it. Oh wow, I hope everybody is okay for real. Um, Let me just pause for a second and see the window. And come back. When you see this kind of behavior out there, is so problematic because you see people just going to the abuser, but you don't want to be like, I rather to wait when someone asks me, yeah, please be careful with that person, but I'm not the kind of person who will just DM you, oh, I hate this person, you should be careful with this. I don't do that. This is not high school, please. That's problematic. I see these schools of personality going out there. It's very interesting because one, two of the things that cults of personality has is critical thinking is not allowed. Give me your money for be part of this group slash coven slash temple slash sanctuary slash whatever. Give me your money. You need to pay for the classes, you need to pay for the books, you need to pay for our time, you need to pay, it's just an offering that you are bringing here. It's just, how say this, it's just a donation, but we suggest a donation of minimum $100, $200, $300, and you're like, wow, that's such a donation in the United States in these financial times. But okay, and you see a lot of that out there. I just literally just see like one or two groups out there with this kind of, we need money to keep doing our work, that actually I see that they are like doing a work that I respect, like this one and everybody else that I just see is just give me your money for myself, like subscribe to my Patreon. So if you subscribe to my Patreon, I can continue creating content for you and you continue paying for the content that you are paying. And also I create an event. So if but the event is just exclusive for my Patreon. And also I have this event which is not exclusive for Patreon. So you can subscribe to this one or this one. And also when you join to these events, you have a discount in my virtual store, but also the discount on my virtual store, I need you to give me money to continue doing my podcast. If I continue doing my podcast and I continue doing my video show and I continue doing my online store, I need that you continue giving me money for Patreon so I can continue selling you more stuff. So continue giving me money so I can sell you more stuff. And I see the reactions of people like doing it and like, for real, like, babe, without offense, but certain levels of stupidity are not allowed. Like, habráse visto. And when you see these kind of things so often, you want to be careful. So please be careful with this kind of cults of personality. Be careful with these groups who are just looking for your attention, for your money, and they are conflicted with everybody else. Try to be careful. I had seen in workshops recently where people literally, and this is for real, people just sit down to give me a whole hour of, I am better than this one because my ways are better than this one because, oh, you can see the light here. Yeah, this is nice. You need to be, or they pass the whole workshop showing you screenshots of conversations with someone else, or they pass the whole workshop talking to you, trashing someone else, the whole class, or mentioning people that is not present in the class. So it's even a lack of manners and education from them. Like, well, your mom really don't make her work. Literally. And you see that behavior over and over and over. And I was in this workshop, sit down in front of my computer, and this person was just trashing other groups of people over and over and over. And I was bored, really bored. Finally started class. And the class was like 40 minutes. Of this 2 hours and a half of a workshop, and I was thinking I really spent my money on this. And a lot of people spend my money. I didn't pay you to know who you hate. I paid you for the class. And that happens all the time. Because these people is kind of abusive narcissists, they want your attention, they want your money, and for that they need to eliminate and alienate the competition. So they need to bring you out of those crowds, keep you away. So you see these people over and over fighting with everybody else, going to your DMs or sending these messages and screenshots. Like I have this in my platform that every time, and like every 2-3 weeks, I just, because I'm a traumatized person, I have a lot of memories from how abusive was my sister with me. The times that she like fight me or abuse me physically and mentally and emotionally. The time that she literally take a shoe and punch my face with a shoe. These kind of memories are very difficult to go away. Then I have a partner in the past who was physically abusive too, and we were fighting physically many times, so much that I was like a professional wrestler, like every week. Was this kind of toxic person that you can let go because go to stalk you in your work, in the college and everywhere else, and was really conflicted time. And when you come from that background and you see this like repeating out there in the wild, it's like, wow, you need to talk about it. And I see this kind of narcissistic abusive behavior constantly. So very often I put in my social media, these are the patterns of a narcissist, or please be careful with narcissistic abusers out there. Every time that I do that, every time someone comes to my DMs saying, is this about me? And I'm like, I am pretty sure you don't know my ex, I am pretty sure you don't know my family, so you don't know about who I'm talking. I'm just trying to be general and plural about the topic. Abusive people have this very common behavior. Be careful. And they come to my DMs like, I'm sure that it's about me. Hey, if the shoe fits, that's not my concern. If you think that my content about narcissistic abusers is about you, you should ground yourself a little bit and think for yourself why I'm thinking that is. If you come to my DMs like someone did and say, my partner is very sure that you are talking about me, and my best friend is pretty sure that you are talking about me, so why you are putting all that content about me out there? And my literal response was, I just met you 2 years ago, and if you check my social media, I have been making this content from the times of MySpace in Spanish and in Yahoo groups. And then I started in Facebook, and then I started doing it on Twitter, and then I started doing it on Instagram. In any other social media that comes out in the future, I will continue doing it. Because abusive behavior and narcissistic abusive behavior is something very common of which people don't talk. And people don't want to talk about this because they are surrounded by a bunch of abusers who don't want to talk about this. So, oh, you're talking about abusive people. Oh, why? I don't want your content. Some people like shut down, they fall a little bit, they say, I don't want to talk more about this, because they don't know that they are actually being surrounded by a bunch of abusers. It's just that, it's the formula. You don't need to be a mathematician, you don't need to be extremely smart to know that. Like you sit down in a table with a bunch of white people and they are like, oh, it's not like we don't want black people, it's that they don't like us when we invite them. Maybe for some reason they don't want you. So maybe you are racist, maybe not. But it's something there for what they don't want to see with you. Just that. And this kind of behavior is so common in these communities. People is trying to grab your attention, people is trying to grab your mental peace, people is trying to grab your money. And if you give all of this, will be just one step to you, give them your soul, and being part of a cult, just worshiping a very small crowd of haters who actually don't even care about you. That's the sad truth. They don't really care about you beyond social media and beyond the money that you give to them. Because everyone of us is replaceable. In the moment that they just take you out of the crowd, they just bring someone else. They just replace you for a cheaper version of yourself. When people just take me out of these crowds, it's like, I know I'm replaceable, but you're replacing me for someone cheaper who don't know your behavior. It's just that. Because abusers do that, they change very often of crowds. It's their way, it's their way, sadly. So please be careful about this kind of groups, about this kind of crowds. Be careful with the people that surrounds you and in which crowds you go. Be very careful with that. If you are looking for covens, for groups, for temples, sanctuaries to be part of the magical, metaphysical pagan community, be careful because there's a lot of cults of personality out there from very traumatized people who never take therapy in their life and they are just trying to blow all their trauma over you and make you part of their cult because it's financially convenient for them, keep you away from everybody else. Please be careful with that. Just that for now. See you in any other moment. Bless you. Be blessed for your pantheon, whatever it is. Be careful, be nice, be wild, stay safe, stay wild, be kind with yourself.